Rather than spend money on paper bags at the store, I decided to pick up a free reusable tote bag from Oswego City Hall. Looks like it's time to go shopping. During the busy primary season, we constantly see yard signs like these ones from sidewalks to street corners. But really, how effective are they in swaying voters? Since I uploaded it the night before, all I have to do is log in to LakerPrint with my LakerNet ID. And voila, there it is. Here at Sheldon Hall Ballroom, these Easter baskets will be raffled off in order to raise money for a lucky Johnson Hall resident who will win a scholarship. But as a common internet user, you can take matters into your own hands, and one way is to report email phishing. Gmail users can report phishing simply by clicking on the More icon on a suspicious email and clicking Report Phishing. There's a pretty energetic crowd of supporters here, if I do say so myself. Reporting from Concord, New Hampshire, Matt Green, Oswego Now.
It's a good start. It's opening the door for more awareness of how much single-use plastic we're using.
Eric Mena is the manager at Green Planet Grocery in Oswego. Until last week, his store handed out some of the 23 billion plastic bags used last year in New York. But that's about to change. We are already a week into the statewide ban. While the state has been tweeting #BringYourOwnBagNewYork on Twitter, the city of Oswego is giving away Keep Oswego Clean bags at City Hall. Rather than spend money on paper bags at the store, I decided to pick up a free reusable tote bag from Oswego City Hall. Looks like it's time to go shopping. Mena says shoppers at Green Planet are adjusting to the new rule.
A few customers preferred them because they were lightweight and simple, reusable in their own way. But generally, we've gotten very little pushback.
Mena tells us the store does provide paper bags, but they generally aren't needed as most of his customers are quick to adopt to reusable ones.
Most people in our store already had them. It was already in their car, it was already in their house. It's kind of part of their mindset already. The environment sort of brings forward people who are a little more environmentally conscious, or at least willing to, bring in a reusable bag.
A store where the concept of sustainability and healthy eating go hand in hand.
In the store, not find any high fructose corn syrup in anything. No artificial coloring. So that's kind of part of our mission statement, is to make sure wherever it's coming from, that it's the best quality that we can obtain.
Matt Green, Oswego Now. Sneezing, coughing, and a plethora of tissues. Arguably the most common sights of the fall that are not as pretty as leaves on a tree. SUNY Oswego is no exception. The beginning of the fall season here at SUNY Oswego means colder temperatures, and combined with an enrollment of over 7,000 students, it can be a recipe for the flu to spread. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention is predicting a rougher flu season than normal because of a spike in flu cases in the southern hemisphere.
We can kind of predict how the season's going to be depending on what's happened in Australia the season before.
As flu symptoms become more prevalent, so do college students.
Or whenever people are cohorted or together in a close area, you might see that there's a spike in flu cases.
And as the fall semester goes into full swing, SUNY Oswego's Health Center is undergoing renovations, meaning that campus healthcare providers have to share space with the bookstore and art departments. But the campus health service is adapting quite well, according to Oswego's Director of Student Health Services.
Than normal, but I think generally there has been no interruption in care besides for the actual transition over here to the building, and it's the same exact care that we're providing over at Walker.
But as we face a potentially horrendous flu season, our local healthcare providers don't hesitate to reinforce ever so important hygiene tips to help us combat this illness.
So de-stressing, good diets, right? You're eating good nutrition, you're getting adequate sleep. That's all that stuff's going to help. Exercise, even if it's just walking.
Yeah, so number one, always hand washing, careful hand washing. The other thing is covering your cough or your sneeze.
Tips we've heard over and over, but are still worth noting. Matt Green, Oswego News Now.
Is not a hoax, it is a dangerous reality.
As the first presidential primary in New Hampshire comes to a close, so does the gap between candidates, who have a mission to accomplish for their supporters. At the close of the polls yesterday, we saw a close finish between first and third place, most notably a rise in votes for Amy Klobuchar, who jumped from the middle of the race to third, just a few points behind Pete Buttigieg.
She spoke to my heart, first of all. She does have empathy.
This comes as a victory to campaign supporters like Michelle Tyler, who joined the Amy Klobuchar campaign after she passed an important health care legislation for moms like herself.
Our second-born son, that I had him in the same vein that Amy speaks about with 24-hour hospital stay. So my husband had to have the head of security of the hospital open up the gift shop at 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning to get the outfit to bring our son home in because our time was up.
And devoted supporters like Tyler could be found all over New Hampshire. Bernie Sanders supporter Justin Dinsmore stood alone at the Donald Trump rally to spread his candidate's message. As we talked to Dinsmore, many patrons who passed by complimented him for what they call bravery.
Because I really believe in Bernie and his message, and I believe in us, not me.
Meanwhile, parents all over the state are turning their kids onto politics.
I guess I was just interested in what this candidate had to say because I watched a little bit of the debate last night.
Why do you think it's important that people your age come to these kinds of events?
So that way kids will know what it's like when they have to vote, so that way they can learn.
An important message from today's youth which could ensure high voter turnout for generations to come. Reporting from Keene, New Hampshire, Matt Green, Oswego Now.
I was concerned because that's not what I see when I come into Little Page.
Little Page Dining Hall is one of 5 residential dining halls on SUNY Oswego's campus. Managed under the direction of Auxiliary Services, it is the largest student employer on campus with over 500 student employees. Situated between Oneida and Onondaga residence halls, Little Page Dining Center serves over 1,000 students a day. A letter was sent out by Auxiliary Services addressing a student who came forward on behalf of multiple students, many of whom had problems with the way managers treated them during their shifts. According to students, the unidentified managers allegedly presented themselves with bad attitudes and would frequently take out their frustration on student employees.
Take bad vibes. Me as a person, the whole thing about bad vibes is I don't want to be around in a workplace that's negative, and sometimes it gets a little bit too negative.
In a response to the allegations, Oswego's Director of Dining Services, Ruth Stevens, sent a mass letter to the employees of Little Page, asking for feedback and to provide resources, including herself, for students who are unhappy in an effort to maintain a positive work environment. Students can choose to remain confidential.
I can learn, our managers can learn, we can become better at what we do. We can find better ways of doing things. I think communication is the key, and I think that really...
Matt Green, WTOP 10.